Hello, members of the internet, and welcome to this video of Forza Motorsport 7, where I won't be changing the colour, no, or anything of the sort, but I will be attempting to sensiblify this Hoonigan Bel Air thingy, which is kind of strange. Basically, it's a drag car, and the bonnet is a long way up. You'd have to be a very tall person to get into there, but as I was saying, I think it could be a sensible track car. I've got a Ford Crown Victoria to compete against, basically, and I don't think this carbon fibre is the standard interior colour, but it'll do, it'll do. Anyway, you'll have our classic Bel Air livery, not livery, interior here. Yeah, I can put words together, it's just very hard for me. Let it run for a moment. I won't lie, I expected something a bit more vicious, to be honest. But anyway, I'm going to first get the Ford Crown Victoria and take it to a track so I can see how quick it goes. Okay, so here we have the Ford Crown Victoria. And I was originally going to use Sonoma, but the game crashed for actually the first time since I downloaded it. I think on PC and Xbox it hasn't crashed up until this point when I'm recording. So here we are at, what was it called? Prague? Yes. Not Spa-di-Francorchamps, that would be a completely different course. Anyway, I'm thinking this could be quite fast. It's quite a fast flowing course actually, fairly different to the variant of Sonoma I was on, and I'm not really sure how that's going to affect things. The Bel Air should stand a bit better of a chance the less of the corners there are, but I don't know, see corners like this, that still snuck up on me, and this is in quite a good handling vehicle. Not the most intense build on this car, but it's a reasonably thorough one that just generally sorts out. We're still talking the stock engine and front engine rear drive, although it is turbocharged in this case, and it has a heavy old radiator at the front because it increases the performance points to the top of A class. I've really had to push the engine to get there, but it has got there with about 600 horsepower, just over I think. And these corners are really tight. It's just good we've got a car which gets round them, I guess. You know, these are generally taxis and police cars in America, though. No one ever seems to think of them as performance cars, which is odd because when you think about it, they've got a V8 and rear wheel drive. Why couldn't you turn them into performance cars? I guess they're heavy, but then they're larger cars, and that also means they're more stable. That never stopped the Dodge Charger being a muscle car, that's for sure. And the modern Dodge Charger is quite heavy, but they still built a they still built a Hellcat version of it. I'm inventing my own tongue twisters here. This car is holding up impressively though. Given I didn't spend the most time on the tune, it is not disappointing. I'm quite impressed with the way it's handling all of this. 2 minutes 11. I would say I'm unlikely to set a sub 2 minute time, but then maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky, I will. If I'm lucky and if I focus, and oh dear. There's some grass. Whoa, just about managed to maintain the road. I didn't maintain the grass very well, but I managed to keep the car on the road. And that's a positive I can take away from it. It may not have even cost me that much time. Sometimes you have horrible slides and things, and then they don't end up costing you a huge amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Oh dear. This is a bad lap. First lap was really stable. This lap is not great. Third lap I'm hoping I can push this. I'll know the course just a bit better, and I'll hopefully know the limits of the car just a bit better, just so I can achieve better time. Now, it was the end of lap 2 when everything crashed before, so let's all hope that doesn't happen again. However, maybe a bit too much power, but again, I'm learning. For what's not the best lap in the world, I might as well use it to experiment a bit. And then I can use my third lap to set the properly quick time. Oh, all these flickering bits are slightly confusing. Visibility is quite good from this car, I will admit. As you would expect from any road car, it's not the best. Especially not with a roll cage there, but everything that needs to be seen can be seen. There are some race cars. I had a Corvette one I was doing the showcase for, which I eventually failed because I didn't pit early enough. And that, you could see next to nothing out of it. Oh dear, ooh. Come on. Somehow I think I managed to just about maintain my line round there. It felt like it was going, but it didn't. There's a lot more grip in this than you would think. It does only have 275 front and rear tyres. I'm not sure why they're so narrow on the rear when every muscle car gets 345 rear, 275 front. Well, pretty much every old muscle car. So, I don't know. It's slightly confusing, but this does handle well. Is it old BMW levels of handling? I would say not quite, but it gets close. It's that good. Now, it's the third lap. I think you probably noticed I was better there in the second lap on that last corner. Oh, trying to just maintain as much speed as I can, and oh, I've messed it up. I just started sliding and there wasn't really anything I could do about it. No. I just thought I could push it more, but I couldn't. Maybe the second lap's going to be the best. Maybe I can save this lap. Who's to say for certain? My window isn't cracked and my mirrors have both remained on the car though, which is massively, massively impressive given what I'm putting this through. Right, I'm going to slow right down for here and then floor it out. That was good. That was good, but is it going to compensate for the other not good bits of this course? I definitely don't think it is. Floor it into here, I can just about keep it in check, and I don't know what kind of time we're looking at. As I say, I have thrown this about more than I really should have, and I'm going wide here as well. Ah, that fixed it. Just power fixes everything. This is a nice engine as well, I will admit, as you would expect from a V8 made in America. I think made in America. We're getting close to the finish line and oh dear, I'm not looking where I'm going. I've thrown it away. I do apologise. Second lap was okay at least. Although I'm not happy with that lap, it's better than nothing. It's going to be quicker than this, that's for sure. We've all put this car through on this lap. The poor thing is probably going to be half beaten to death by the time I'm done with it. Still, we will cross the line with a slower time in our first lap even. And let's see what the quickest lap was. Come on, are you going to show the fastest lap? I can change a view now. I don't think you used to be able to do that in older Forza games. 211.983, so under 212. Maybe we can beat that, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Okay, so briefly before getting the Bel Air to work on, I thought we would have a look at this Ford Crown Victoria. It has got more doors than the Chevrolet, I'm pretty sure of that. And I think it's a better looking car overall. Although the Bel Air is somewhat nicer. I don't know, it's a lot more of a drag car. Yeah, it's a lot more Spartan. Maybe we can turn it into a true track car. That wouldn't be the worst thing to do. I've painted these pillars here as well in the middle. They weren't originally black. They just look better that way, I think. So that's why I've done it. And with these wheels, I think lowered, it looks quite good. Not bad at all. You may disagree, but that's just my opinion. So, not everyone will agree. But anyway, I'll get the Bel Air now, and we can start working on it. Okay, so, what do we want to add to this vehicle, or take away perhaps? Now, we apparently already have race suspension, but we probably want these anti-sway bars, anti-roll bar things. Now, they will help a lot. Brakes, we want brakes, definitely. Transmission we may not need. We'll have to see about that. Now there is something I want to do with the transmission, if this thing will hurry up on my old mechanical hard drives. Yeah, I don't have much space and I can't afford a 512 gigabyte SSD, so I'm stuck with mechanical drives. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the springs. We'll see. Wait, that's very odd. So it's as if they don't want you to lower the front. We can do stupid things with the rear. Okay, that makes things a lot harder. If we can't just lower the front, I guess the way it was is probably the best way we can have it then. Right, so I have to see what else there is. The tyres I had on my mind as well. We've got 215 fronts and 275 rears. So we can balance these out. We can have 265 fronts. Should stop the understeer because this is a drag vehicle after all. And maybe have bigger wheels, lighter wheels. Just generally do what you do to a track vehicle. I know these aren't the lightest, but I don't like using the lightest ones all the time when it's not always necessary. Although I probably should, let's be honest. Yeah, this looks crazy. It looks almost like an SUV at the front. So, there we go. It could be quite nice though, if tuned properly. What rear tyres can we get on it? So 305s, they're not that wide, so I don't think we should have a problem with those. If we set the alignment up properly, 265, 305 is a fairly ordinary tyre balance, so it's not got really crazy tyres in terms of how they are against each other. Drag tyres, yeah, no, we don't want them. They are not track tyres, so we want race tyres. Try and get this thing to handle as best as we can. We have got the anti-roll bars, so that will no doubt help with the way this is going. Ooh, we can see the engine right there. Speaking of which, what do we have in terms of engine? Ah, so we have a much heavier Hemi, and we have a race engine that weighs exactly the same. Do I want to add weight to the front? I don't think I do. That's rarely good for balance and handling. And can we go with a roll cage? Like I did with the Crown Victoria, this could always help. What are we on for handling? Handling is 4.9. Handling, wow. If I'm seeing this correctly, handling is either very similar or slightly better than the Ford Crown Victoria. And we've not added the aero yet, which we can get. So, we'll go with that. Do I want a bonnet doodad? They do reduce visibility. That one seems small enough. I think I'll go with this one. It's small enough and it doesn't really intrude too much into the purpose of a vehicle that I feel. We've got a B-class car now. Fairly strong. We've got the full brakes. I think because of the power output being reasonable, the best thing we can do is add a lot of handling parts. I wouldn't normally go mad with these if I were building for a division in the game, but in this particular case, I think the handling parts are probably better to go for than certain other bits. And I'm running out of money quick, but I should still have enough for this build. I'm not changing the engine or anything, so that will help. Should we go with this? Yeah, let's rev it higher with the camshaft upgrades. This is not going to need a turbocharger, that's for sure. Could probably even get to the Crown Victoria-ish power levels without. I'm amazed by the handling of this though, I will admit. I'm amazed it's rated it just as highly as it has for a crazy vehicle that this happens to be. Now, maybe I'll end up swallowing my own words about the power of the Crown Victoria it's getting close to the top of the class and it's not building power quick. So I've got that, good. Have we got a stage of this? Oh. So what are we on now? We're on nothing on there. Plus 20 horsepower. Plus 11. I think because of the weight, we'll have to go with this and something else. So that's plus 11. No? It's hard to find a combination of parts without adding weight. That's the problem. This may not be the most powerful in the world, but it's gonna handle well. No, maybe not, but still. It's like the Ford in more ways than I would have suspected. That much must be said. So I think we have it done. I can show you around the car, I guess. We have new wheels, look. Can't open the bonnet apparently, even though we've not changed the induction type to a supercharger or a turbocharger. Yeah, there we go. I can get in the passenger seat, sure, why not? Not too much to report, if I'm entirely honest, other than to go to the track side and do some tuning on this thing. So, I think I know what I'm doing here. I can, hopefully, do things with it. I'm thinking I'll lower the rear. This is going to seem completely mad at first, what I'm going to do, but it will make sense with time. Brakes can wait. We can have a whole load of stiffening at the front because that's where it's likely to roll. Now, as you'll see, I lowered the rear so we can afford to have some more softness there and not really worry about it. In terms of cornering, we wanted to make corners, so I'm definitely adding some alignment here. It's generally good though for grip to have some more camber on the rear than you have on the front. So if I go 1.9 front, that gives us a lot on the front, but it's not completely without reason. Then we can go 1, 2, 3. There, that should be good. So what do we have here? We have long gear ratios. I don't know how long this was supposed to drag for, but presumably a very long way up the drag strip. And move these along just a bit so we're not spinning the wheels crazy amounts. I'll say that it's on race tyres and it's a built drag car. It's supposed to grip off the line. Are we able to... We're able to get 5 point something seconds. 5.543. Trying to find the right balance here. It's a complicated part. You just gotta get it just right so you can manipulate the figures to say what you want them to say. Seriously though, it does mean it's gripping if you're able to get longer gears but still good figures from the car. I'm thinking for suspension, the front can be a lot softer. The rear can be firmer. That way we should be able to somewhat maintain balance despite this vehicle being so unbalanced. Hike that up just a bit to about 3.5 and we can have 3.2 there. I think it was standard. That can be 2.3. Ah, the differential. I think I'll go with 50%. I'm not sure what this car wants now. And 0 there. That's usually good as a basis. And we need to adjust the brakes. So, set them to about 40 and see how it changes. Just have to scroll through here. You'll see the brakes are generally getting better. That's what I use to adjust them. that should work. 37% normally works well on all cars. I don't get why. Just look at how low that rear end is. But anyway, we can get going now and hopefully beat that Ford. There we go, and yeah, just look at this guy. He's terrified. He probably can't see a thing out of it. And I should have really removed the rear bumper if it would let me. Ooh, this feels strange. Controllers vibrating in strange ways. All things said and done, it doesn't handle too badly. Not as good as the Ford, mind, as I expected, but it doesn't handle too bad. I can barely see a thing with that bonnet in the air. Ford definitely had better visibility than this. I'm pretty sure, though, this is going to do well when it comes to it, because it is gripping amazingly well round these corners. And out of the corners, there's no less grip available than the Ford Crown Victoria, so that's something. I'm actually slightly concerned about this as well. I like that Ford. I don't want it to be beaten. Maybe I should deliberately have a crash or something, because I feel this could genuinely beat the Ford at this stage. It's really not a bad vehicle. And I think the Ford had the unfair advantage of having the tyre pressures adjusted, which I've forgot on this car. I conveniently forgot, let's say. If I remove that, not bonnet ornament, but that lightweight bonnet from the car, that could probably help us out. But then, I don't know. It would be heavier, but I'd be able to see out of it better. Slightly. Or would I? Yeah, I would. Just not much. I have to say, given my initial concerns about this vehicle, it doesn't handle badly at all. Although having a nose pointing in the sky is definitely a strange sensation. As I say, it's not on full drag tyres, and that is helping it massively despite its drag racing roots. Third gear here, and I'm pushing quite hard, but it's fine. Gearing is feeling nice so far. 2 minutes 14. Slower than the Ford, but then so it would be. It was the opening initial lap. Now with the tyres just a little warmer, how will it do? As I go a bit wide. There we go. What can I say? It's not the car I expected it to be. Maybe I should have raised the rear up just a bit more, or not lowered the rear. But no, that wouldn't have the silly, fun effects of it. That's something. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Somehow I got out of that without too much damage to my lap time or to my car. I've got mechanical damage off anyway. What, just rev past that limit? Oh dear. 10,000 RPM. There's cars that rev higher than that, believe it or not. Can we... Yeah, not cars like this that rev higher than that, but there's cars that rev higher. Trying to maintain my composure around here. Did I just see a GT40 on that sign? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. A GT40 would probably be nicer to drive than this. Try to get going into the final corner. Is it final corner? Maybe. No. On lap 2. Which way is up? This car confuses you. It's like you're driving a front wheel drive where the back half has been chopped off. Very, very strange. Although it handles better than that. To say that it wouldn't give it justice. Oh dear. I think maybe I should have stiffened up the anti-roll on the front. Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? And it's still rolling just a bit there. Could it be too stiff? I wouldn't think so, but I guess it could be possible. Third lap. Oh, it's really close to the Ford. It's bobbling all over the place, but with times like this, it is concerning me deeply. I do not want that Ford to be beaten. But at the same time, I feel this car is genuinely faster than the Ford, and that I'm genuinely going to be able to carry more speed, even if it is awkward. It's like those Reliants in Forza Horizon 3. If you got one right in I think C class, they could be monstrously quick, but they were just hard to build. Is that part of my car on the track? No, it looks like a sign. I don't know how it would get there. Maybe I knocked it over. That figures. I didn't hit the wall this time, which is definitely a positive in terms of lap time. Because honestly, if this can be a 100% clean lap, it could beat the Ford. That's all it really needs to be. It just needs to be completely clean. I had a bit of an impact there on the ground, but that's fine. I can get by with an impact on the ground. Ooh, all that power. Yeah, this does have wider rear tyres and slightly narrower front tyres than the Ford, as you would expect from a drag car. And it is living up to expectations, probably going past them. Yeah, it is going far past my expectations. I expected this thing to be a bit of a nightmare and to be a bit of a challenge, really, which is why I decided I would go through with it. But no, this is not enough of a challenge to me. Fourth gear. If I use the stock transmission, maybe I could get even more speed out of it. Oh dear. I think I brushed the wall there very lightly, but I think that was still not going to completely ruin my time. I'm trying to go quick with this, but it hurts me to do so because I love that Crown Victoria. And I know I'm just going to get beaten. 2 minutes 7, 2 minutes 8, 2 minutes 9, and indeed, it's 1. Okay. So, conclusion. Okay, so my conclusion is actually a Ford RS200. Yep, I wanted to see how a good, basically well-designed factory vehicle might do around here. And I'm sorry about the stutter, I don't know why my PC does that so much. But anyway, there we go. Heavily turboed inline 4 and all-wheel drive. Should be a recipe for a quick car, or so I hope. Anyway, to the track. Okay, so the Ford RS200 here to tackle the course. Let's see how it does. The funny thing is, it was actually this course I had to race around to win the RS200, so I guess it's had a try at it already. But I don't know, it was a short while ago. Still, I've not really got any other cars I can think that start at this performance point tier thing. With Forza's system, it makes it harder to find where cars actually begin with for their performance points. So, you know, this was just something I figured from previous Forza games. Maybe pretty good as a test, and boy is this thing fairly quick. The alternative I had though was the Nissan R33 rear-wheel drive race thing I bought from a specialty dealer, although that is very biased to handling. It just wouldn't have the speed the other vehicles would have, and it would be hindered because of that. Oh dear, I'm taking a terrible line through this corner. I do apologise. This feels quick. This feels like it could beat both of them, which would basically mean the message of this video is don't trust me to tune your car. But still, if the Hoonigan Bel Air gets within about within a minute of this car, I would call that a success for it, because it is, after all, not meant for this kind of racing. And this car, although it's meant more for rallying, it is designed with tight, winding courses in mind. So it's designed to do this kind of width of path probably better than the other two vehicles. And that really does play in its favour. It's also got all-wheel drive, meaning it can fly out of some of these corners. Got a bit of a blank spot for turbo there, but it's fine. this is not actually as quick as I would have expected. Although it feels quick and it is quick, and no doubt it's gonna chop a load of time off with the coming laps. Oh dear. Far too wide here. I did a Crown Victoria on the grass. That's funny. It's kind of strange. It's got bits of Bel Air, bits of Crown Victoria, and bits of Subaru in it. In the way it handles. Maybe not what I would have expected, but you know, it's a good way to finish off. Have we got anything else I think I can say about this? We've got another lap, so yeah, I would say if I mess this up, I've got another chance, but I tried that with the Crown Victoria, and that failed, so I'm not going to say it as I do a crazy drift there. It doesn't have the hugest amount of tyre grip available, I'll say that now. Although it has got all-wheel drive, and it's got all-wheel drive grip, definitely. The grip in the tyres isn't as crazy as you might expect. It's not got the same tyre grip as the Crown Victoria had, for example. The Hoonigan Bel Air probably had more tyre grip, but just struggled to use it with all the high centre of gravity and everything. So, yeah, I mean, it does grip, it's just, it feels far more on edge from those cars. Those cars felt like they were just muscle cars and they were spinning the wheels because they had huge amounts of power, which they were. This is spinning the wheels because it's got a lot of power going through wheels that really don't quite want to put that power down. And here we have some kind of tight winding section, as I had a bit of a lag bump there. Lag bump, would you call it? Stutter, oh dear. I'm still not out of it. Somehow I got through that. Why is it stuttering now? I saw the other two cars, it was pretty good with them, and then suddenly the RS200. Maybe it's just too fast for my PC, which I guess figures. I have more or less the recommended requirements though, so, you know, other than maybe dropping a few frames, there shouldn't be any major problems with it. Come on. There we go. Very neatly around there. Hopefully I can save it on this lap though, because the game's stuttering and all going a bit funny on that last lap was not helping me at all. That's what it did before it crashed as well in Sonoma. Well, it had just one really big stutter mainly, and then it had it and it had enough. I wonder what the time is. I've not really been looking on the second lap. Mainly because the stutter was annoying me too much, but I wonder if that's any good. It feels like I've just about got the handling of this down and I've just about learned how to use it. If that's the case, then, as I suspect it to be, I could be seeing incredible times from this. Oh, yeah, there we go. I could have thrown that into a wall if I weren't careful as I was. That's why it was so important to be careful. And then speed it up into this element of the course, known as a tunnel to most people. Oh, it has got quite soft suspension. That's something to note, because it's a rally car essentially. Although these are good cars to drive, it's just more grip would always help it. I don't know, it's like a Ford Rari is probably the best way of putting it. I think they're actually built by Reliant of all companies to build a sports car, because they had experience in working with fiberglass. And actually I mean Reliant is in the three-wheeled trike thingies. Is this going to be quick? Who knows for certain. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so to answer the question, the Hoonigan Bel Air can be turned into a sensible and actually very, very competitive vehicle around a racetrack. The Ford RS200 was a 2 minute 13 time. The Crown Victoria was a 2 minutes 11, and the Bel Air. Did I say Hoonigan Crown Victoria? No, Hoonigan Bel Air did a 2 minutes 10 time. So, immediately, this thing is quick. And, yeah, I guess it's a good car for this channel to begin with. Answering the questions no one ever asked. But anyway, until no one asks another question, goodbye until another day.